Football is back in Kansas City. For the first time in 2024, we will see your Kansas City Chiefs in action as they square off against the Detroit Lions in week number 2 of the preseason. Coming off the loss to the Jacksonville Jags last week, the Chiefs looking to get back on track and impress. They open as a 4-point favorite, the over-under set at 39. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us as we preview this matchup. We'll go over my 5 things to watch for from this game in just a moment. But first, need your help trying to get to 56.5 thousand subscribers before the game on Saturday afternoon for daily Chiefs coverage, our watch party on Saturday, in addition to our news and rumors, live shows, Q&A, mailbags, and more. You got to subscribe to the channel. Join the family here on the channel of the kingdom. Subscribe now for free, and we'll get started with today's show. First question I have for the Chiefs Kingdom. I'm very curious. Is King Felix going to show up and show out for this Kansas City Chiefs team? He has been one of the talks of Chiefs training camp of how well he's progressed in his second year in the NFL. But last week, we did not see a ton from him in the loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We mentioned this a couple days ago, and I'll bring it up again. He had a high snap count. He played in over 36% of the Chiefs' defensive snaps last week, which was the second most of any player. And I think it's very fair to say that we should expect to see more out of him than what we saw last week. It's year 2. It's time for him to take that next step forward. He played in every game last year, but kind of left a lot to be desired, right? Only had 17 tackles, averaged 1 tackle per game, had 1 forced fumble there in his first season in Kansas City, but really just didn't do much. And so for me, what I want to see out of King Felix is that first-round talent that they selected. I want to see him finally come into his own and make that transition from a practice player to a football player. This is a big step to really show what he's made of and not just be another guy. Because last week, you look back at the statistics, and he looked like just another guy with 3 tackles, 3 solo tackles, and didn't do much. I want to see him get after the quarterback, get behind the line of scrimmage, play a role in stopping the run, do all those things there. To me, this is a huge chance for him to prove himself and to earn more playing time on this Chiefs defense in 2024. Let's see what he does. Who do you got in this matchup, by the way? You rolling with the Chiefs, or do you have the Detroit Lions? Who wins this one? Weigh in the comment section. Get your predictions in. Type C for Chiefs, L for Lions. Let us know. Up next, let's talk offense now. The battle for the RB3 position. Although CEH has not played great up until this point, was not his best outing by any stretch, in the game against the Jacksonville Jags last week. It seems like he's still on track to be that RB2. But the RB3 competition is wide open. Prince has looked fantastic throughout training camp. We saw Steele last week look like a man of steel, pun intended, as one of the top players for the Chiefs in that performance against Jacksonville. But who's going to have their night on Saturday? Are we talking about a number of guys here on this Chiefs team that it feels like, you have such a competitive spot. Who's going to separate themselves? Steele looked the part last week, right? 4 carries, 29 yards. I mean, he did very well, and he impressed Andy Reid. We'll show you what Andy had to say here in just a moment. But does he have more to offer there? Will it be Prince's night? Will it be somebody else? I'm very curious who is going to be that running back to stand out and potentially separate themselves to earn that spot at the 53-man roster. Andy Reid had this to say on Carson Steele. He's got to be a good special teams player. He's going to make the team. He's got to be a good special teams player, and he's got to be able to carry the football and stay aggressive like he's doing right now. So for Carson Steele, it's continuing to do what he's been doing there. We've talked a lot about Reese Zammit as well, the former rugby player. And last week, he kind of looked like a deer in headlights, but he's still learning the game of football, right? It's going to take time for him. Is this his moment to kind of show up and show out? All of that remains to be seen. We shall see. Who is a player to watch in Saturday's contest for your Kansas City Chiefs? Give me a name that comes to mind of somebody you think will have a good performance. Doesn't just have to be a running back. Give me a name in the comment section below who stands out to you. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. You get the options of more or less, whether you're talking football, basketball, baseball, golf, auto racing, all sorts of different categories to choose from, folks. And PrizePicks has got a great offer, folks. They are giving you a $100 matching bonus on your first deposit when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS on your first entry. And I'm looking ahead, folks, to the start of the football season as I got Patrick Mahomes easily gets over 4,299.5 passing yards. I'm hitting the more on that. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's going to be a star in this league, but I think it's a little bit early to be thinking about him having more than 83.5 receptions this year. If he does that, by all means, take my money, my man. This entry, if it hits, let's say I put $20 down, that could turn into $60 on PrizePicks, folks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. PrizePicks, proud partner of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Next up, let's talk about Justyn Ross. And I want to see more Justyn Ross after he had a very good game last week against Jacksonville and had one of the highlights of the entire week in the National Football League, the play of the night with that sideline grab, the toe tapping and everything. That was spectacular from him. And if he keeps this up, if he can show more of those plays, his athleticism, then he's got a really good shot to make this final roster in a very competitive room there in Kansas City. Justyn Ross was really good out of Clemson, went undrafted due to the injuries that he suffered there at Clemson, and he's been banged up a lot already. But we've seen him already claim 2 Super Bowls with this Chiefs team, but not a ton of experience in regular season action. Just 10 career games played with 6 catches for 53 yards. This is somebody that, when he was coming out of Clemson prior to the injuries, was talked about as being a first-round talent. And he's got work to do to make this roster and prove that he can be a valuable receiver for this Kansas City Chiefs team. Last week had the 23-yard catch. Let's see more from Justyn Ross. I think he's a good football player, but he's got to show it on a consistent basis here. Will Justyn Ross make the 53-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in. Let us know what you think, if Ross will make the roster or not. Number 4, I want to know, how is this Chiefs offensive line going to stack up? When the Chiefs went to the reserves, the backup offensive lineman last week, it went all downhill from there. It was a disaster with the backup offensive line last week, and there's really no excuse for it. I mean, you're supposed to have guys that are capable backups here. When we talk about guys like Wanya Morris and Lucas Niang, among others here, these guys got to do a better job than what we saw last week. And for me, I just want to see improvement. I want to see a competent offensive line. We know that this Chiefs offensive line, when it comes to the starters, they have some good options. When you talk about the best center in football, Creed Humphrey. Trey Smith, he's about to get paid, and rightfully so. But the next man up, right, if something happens, if there's an injury, whatever it may be, these guys got to be trusted if their name gets called, and they got to show more than what we saw last week. What will the score be of the Chiefs-Lions game? I think it's going to be low scoring. I'll go with the Chiefs to get it done. I'll go 23-16 is my official pick. Give me your official pick in the comments section. Let us know how you think this game's going to play out. Last on my list of what to watch for the Kansas City Chiefs, let's talk about Jaden Hicks for a second. Jaden Hicks, he had a coming-out party last week against the Jags and really took advantage of the opportunity with Justin Reid out. He looked really good. I'm excited about this cat. And his potential to be an impact player right away for this Kansas City Chiefs team. And he's not going to take a starting job away from anybody, but what he can do, if he continues to show up and show out, this can give the Chiefs some flexibility to play multiple safeties, to have those 3 safety sets, which we've seen a lot more of in the National Football League as of late. Mike McDonald did a lot in Baltimore. He's expected to do a lot in Seattle this year as well. I think Jaden Hicks could be a game changer, a Swiss Army knife for this Chiefs team potentially if he continues to show up like he did last week. A 4th-round pick out of Washington State, was an all Pac-12 honorable mention. And you talk about coverage. Obviously, if you're going to be in the secondary, you got to be good in coverage. He was the very best in the Pac-12 conference last year, RIP, among coverage safeties with an overall grade of 84.9. So more of that from Jaden Hicks, I think, could certainly earn him an opportunity to get some more playing time. The numbers last week included 4 tackles, also had 1 tackle for loss as well. I want to go over his scouting report before we wrap up here and get to know Jaden Hicks and what he brings to the table a little bit more. A very good athlete. Got incredible athleticism that he brings to the table. Good body control and size. Also shows physicality and strength. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Bone-crushing hits. All right? I mean, this guy's taking some tough acting to Tinactin, all right? He's got now, the thing he needs to work on that I'm looking at going forward with this preseason game and from here on out, his pad level is a bit too high in the back pedal. But to me, I've seen enough good things that that's kind of a minor thing to work on. I think for him, improving his strengths and then getting to his weaknesses, that'll certainly go a long way. I'm excited about what he'll bring to the table. Join us for our watch party coming up Saturday afternoon. Chiefs and Lions, so we will see you then. Subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.